Hello there, I'm Joshua Shaw, and welcome to J Productions. Today we're looking at The Raid 2, Berandal. So let's get right into it.
Let's get to it. Nama saya Rama. Saya tahu siapa kamu. Abang saya bilang, saya bisa percaya Bapak. Abang lu nggak salah. Lu suka atau tidak suka dengan peristiwa hari ini, Reza dan anak buahnya akan ngincer lu. Mereka akan ngincer lu sampai ketemu. Kalau kita nggak cepat bertindak, lu bakal hilang.
So The Raid 2 is the sequel to The Raid Redemption, which was this fantastic Indonesian martial arts film, which was insane. I mean, the action scenes in that movie were crazy, and the fact that that movie was done for $1 million was like,
Say what?
And then they're giving $10 million for the sequel, and the fight scenes are even more insane. I mean, this movie, though the story is decent and all, the story isn't really the focus of the film. It's more the suspense, tension, and the action sequences. And the action sequences are off the chain. It was directed by Gareth Evans, who is actually a white guy, believe it or not. He also wrote the movie, and it goes for about 2.5 hours, which is quite long, though it does kind of present itself as epic in scope. But in the end, the fight scenes get you through this movie, because the story, though, like I said, it's decent, it really doesn't even matter. For those of you that haven't seen the first movie, I'd recommend you do before watching this, just because there's some important stuff. You don't really have to, but there's just some important stuff that are in the little details. But really what this movie is about is this guy here is an undercover cop who's infiltrating a gang to crack down on corrupt cops. Now, that sounds cool and all, but the main problem with the script is that that's quickly forgotten, and then it's all about taking down the gang, and in the end, he doesn't take down any corrupt cops. The corrupt cops don't even show up in the film, which is just kind of annoying on a scripting level, but other than that, the film is really well done, good cinematography, a pretty awesome score, and the fight choreography is amazing, and it is brutal. I mean, it looks in a way that you know it's choreographed, but it looks raw and real, even though you know that they've planned everything out, which you can tell in some films, but in here it looks brutal. You can like feel bones breaking, and just it makes you cringe and gasp at times just how intense this movie is, and the fact that it's also rated R18, and it's not a soft R, this is hard R. The violence is pretty gruesome, and it gets really violent really quickly. I like this just as much as the first movie. The main problem is the plot and story is more convoluted, which brings it down a bit. But in the first movie, the plot and story was really bare bones, so you didn't really get annoyed with some little inconsistencies and whatnot with that, because it wasn't really about the story. But here, they make it more of a focus, and it's also a reason why it goes for 2.5 hours. When they easily could have cut things out, got rid of some side stories and that to make it a more focused film. But in the end, I still really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, these fight scenes are crazy. They increased the budget 10 times over, and it really shows. It's a really good-looking film, a really well-made film, and well-acted, but the story is just quickly forgotten amidst the carnage of the fighting, which is a bit of a shame. It's still really enjoyable. There's some really awesome stuff in it, like Batboy and Hammer Girl. There's some really crazy stuff that they do, and you wonder how they're able to do it without getting people killed accidentally, especially like a fight in the mud, which would have been incredibly dangerous. And you know that these fights would have taken weeks to choreograph and film. And it just shows how talented the people involved are. This director, Gareth Evans, he has just improved his filmmaking level, especially because of the budget. And just the way he does compositions and choreographs these fight scenes is just so fantastic, and it just looks good as well. And just the fact that he's also able to instill suspense and fear in this film, and the way he uses confined spaces to make that even more nail-biting, which is great, and the fact that you have fight scenes in like tiny rooms or inside a car. It's pretty thrilling, and I definitely recommend checking this movie out. I give it 4 stars, which is the same score I gave the first one. It's really enjoyable films, and it really sets up for a third film, which I hope is even better, and hopefully they can have a more focused script. But I know that it will definitely be a bigger movie once again, and it should be awesome as well. But yeah, there's some really great action scenes in this. Like, honestly, I can't see any other action movie of the year having action scenes as good as this movie, so definitely check it out for that. But remember, it is R18 and a hard R18, so don't go if you're squeamish and don't go in if you're underage. Well, anyway, that's all the time we have for today. If you have any thoughts on the Raid 2, you can comment below. Go to my Facebook page, like that, comment there, follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, I'm Joshua Cho, this is Jerry Productions. Just get out there and watch good movies.